All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er draft video. Now, a very interesting report I'm reading this morning. Matt Miller, ESPN's Matt Miller, who worked for a long time on the Bleacher Report, a guy that I know really well, has cited a source who says that the 49ers have, quote, done more work on the tight end position than any other team, even though they don't pick until number 99. Now that is really interesting. Of course, the 49ers have George Kittle. He's going to turn 30 years old during the upcoming season. He's under contract through 2025. Kittle's got an out in 2024. And I think, there's a lot of things at play here. One, let's look at the 49er depth chart at tight end. You've got George Kittle. He's a true number one guy, but he also, is a guy that likes to run through people. He's a very physical player. He's getting to the wrong side of 30. And you got to be prepared for the injury possibility and also for the possibility that he could be departing at some point. You look at the rest of that position, Charlie Warner, hard. He keeps his legs churning. He's kind of a tenacious blocker, but he doesn't really move people at the point of attack in the run game, and he's not much of a receiver. Then you have Ross Dwelley. Ross Dwelley is almost like a glorified wide receiver. He's got receiving ability, but he doesn't really have strong ability as an inline blocker. He can't keep defensive ends in front of him. And I think that's the difference. And then you look at this tight end class, and let's go through it. It's a phenomenal class of tight ends. Now, I think the guy at the very top of the list is the guy that they would be after. That's Michael Mayer. Mayer was thought to be a top 10 pick, and then he didn't work out particularly well. And so now they're saying he might slip into the late 20s. If the 49ers want to trade up, I think they're trading up with Michael Mayer in mind. Mayer is a tremendous player. They call him Baby Gronk, 6'4", 240, great ball skills. I watch college football every week. This guy is a phenomenal player. He was a great player at Covington Catholic in Kentucky, and he's been a great player at Notre Dame. He's an All-American. He was a Mackey Award semifinalist. He was on the Bolitnikoff watch list. This is one of the best tight ends I've seen in college football in a long, long time. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school by rivals, the number 48 player nationally, the number 2 ranked tight end, and the number 1 player in the state of Kentucky coming out of high school. He was the Gatorade Kentucky Football Player of the Year in 2019. Just a really, really complete tight end. This guy can be a receiver. He can block. Michael Mayer is a terrific player. And if you can get Michael Mayer in the draft, now I'm not saying they can, but if you can get Michael Mayer, to me, he's a difference maker. To me, he's the kind of guy that you plug in next to George Kittle, and now your 2 tight end set becomes deadly. And I would love to see it, especially if Brock Purdy's your quarterback. When you look at the success that Brock Purdy has had, both at Iowa State and with the 49ers throwing to the tight end, adding a Michael Mayer to this mix might just be the thing that gets you over the top and puts that 6th Lombardi trophy in the Lombardi trophy case down there in Santa Clara. So Mayer is the blue chipper, and to me, he's the safest pick in this entire draft. He's a ready-made Pro Bowl caliber tight end, and that's the guy that I would go for. Now, if you can't get him, there are several other tight ends. Dalton Kincaid from Utah, really, really good football player, incredibly productive receiver for the Utes, 6'4", 245, very dependable, probably going to go at the end of round 1, maybe early round 2. If you watch the combine, how about the one-handed grab that Darnell Washington had on the sideline in that workout? It was absolutely amazing. Washington, in a lot of ways, is the prototype. 6'6", 265 pounds, super blue chipper, probably going to be a high day 2 pick, high pick in round 2. A lot of the scouts love Luke Musgrave from Oregon State. 6'6", 250, runs like the wind, great athletic measurables. He's a terrific player, probably going to go early second round. But then, that's just the beginning. Those are the guys that are going in round 1 and round 2. But this draft class is exceptionally deep. Now, if the 49ers are unable to trade up from round 3, the end of round 3, who could they potentially be looking at? Well, Sam Laporta. I mean, you went to Iowa once for Kittle. Do you go back to Iowa for Laporta? Laporta's really, really solid, smooth receiver. It's funny. They had a horrendous offense at Iowa, but this guy just continued to make great play after great play after great play. He is tremendous, very consistent. I thought he looked the best of all the tight ends at the combine. Just in the drills, just very smooth. Not going to wow you with, he's not quite the George Kittle strength. He's not quite the George Kittle speed. But he's a really, really solid player who understands how to sit in the soft spots in the zone and has great hands and is really smart. So he's really intriguing. Now, he may go in front of them in the third round. They may have to move up if they want him. Then there's other guys. There's Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion. Now, I've watched Kuntz. He's 6'7", 6'8", 250 pounds. He's got some great measurables. He ran in the 4.5s. But if you look at him from the knee down, his calves are kind of skinny. And to me, he seems like a guy that's going to have a hard time, just protecting himself against big-time hits in the open field at that height. But he's definitely an intriguing player when you look at 6'8", 250, and, runs exceptionally well. The guy that I kind of like is Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State. Really productive player, 6'5", 255. He's the redshirt junior. Just a tremendous player. I watched him at South Dakota State. Great hands, ability to run routes. The Niners also looked at Cameron Latu from Alabama, who's 6'4", 250. They met with Brenton Strange from Penn State, 6'3", about 260. And then there's other guys on this list. I mean, this is an exceptionally deep group. Payne Durham is one of my favorites. Kind of reminds me of Dallas Goedert from the Philadelphia Eagles. Payne Durham played for Purdue. He's a 6'5", 255-pound tight end who just catches everything around him. So I think he's a tremendous player, would be a real asset. Will Mallory from Miami, 6'5", 245, probably going to be a fourth-round pick, maybe a fifth-round pick. Just a really solid receiver. The kid from Michigan, Luke Schoonmaker, had a terrific on-campus workout in Ann Arbor and showed phenomenal skills. He's a better-than-you-think athlete. He's a 6'6", 250-pound player right now, but Schoonmaker's got the frame, I think, to put on – he might be able to put on 20 pounds. He might be able to bulk up to 270 and really be a monster in the NFL. I think Schoonmaker's just now kind of just coming into his own. The Cincinnati tight end, Josh Wiley, 6'7", 245 pounds. Really, really solid player for the Bearcats, and I think he's going to be there in the fifth round. And then you can go further down the list. I mean, Braden Willis is a day 3 pick from Oklahoma. They worked him out. He's 6'4", 240, more of a movement tight end. And then, to me, there's one other guy on this list that I think everybody's got to take a look at, and I'm sure the Niners have already talked to him because there's rumors that they're interested, and that's Dakota Allen from Eastern Kentucky. And he's 6'4", he's 250 pounds. Now, he wasn't invited to the Combine. In the Eastern Kentucky Pro Day, the man they called Dak Allen put up 25 reps at 225. That would have been the number one bench of any tight end at the Combine. And he's really known for his receiving ability. So the question with Dak Allen is he strong enough as an inline blocker? He's a converted quarterback. This guy played quarterback, and then they moved him to tight end so he would have a pro future because they didn't feel like he was going to be a professional quarterback. And it just shows what a terrific athlete he is. As I said, 6'4", 250. He's from Lebanon, Ohio. And he went to that high school right there, Lebanon High School. Phil Steele said he was a first-team all-conference player this year. And just a great athlete who's got phenomenal strength. And if you watch Allen, he's, and the film's hard to find. There's not a lot of film out there on him, but you can see the explosive capabilities as a receiver. And then you see that upper body strength and you're like, wow, this guy has got upper body strength. And to me, he's a developmental player. Now, he's coming off a leg injury, so I don't think he's necessarily going to be healthy at the beginning of minicamp. That's just my speculation. I don't have a report on that, but That may frighten away some teams. There may be some teams that would like Allen but don't like him because he's not healthy. He may go undrafted. He may be a guy that the 49ers sign as an undrafted free agent. Or he may be one of those guys. I think they have 4 picks in the 7th round, and they may go with Dakota Allen as an upside tight end pick. He's kind of what I would call the super sleeper in that he played at Eastern Kentucky, converted quarterback, coming off an injury, great measurables. But this guy's a player. He's an absolute player. He's a terrific athlete. He's a great competitor. And this guy just beats you in any number of ways. So he's a developmental player. There's no question. But, I could see the 49ers going tight end at any point in this draft. If you said to me, who do you think they like out of the group? I love Michael Mayer, and I got to think they see it the same way. I also think they probably really like Sam Laporta just because of the Iowa connection and how well, he was coached up there at Iowa. I think they like Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State. That's just a guess. But and then I think Dak Allen, if they get to day 3 and they haven't made a tight end pick, I think he becomes very likely. Now, Tucker Kraft is interesting just because, you're talking about a player who's, he was FCS All-American, played at a small school. He's from South Dakota, but there's a lot to like here. This guy's a battler. He can catch the football. He was one of the best players for the Jackrabbits and a guy who I think his best football is ahead of him. So I would say this. If you say make a guarantee on the 49ers, I will guarantee you that the Niners will pick up a tight end in this draft and probably earlier than we think. If you say who's it going to be, that's hard to say. Could be Schoonmaker. Could be Payne Durham. I think fits them exceptionally well. Could be Davis Allen. Could be Tucker Kraft. If they trade up high enough and they see the genius in Michael Mayer, who knows? If they make a big trade up, and it would obviously involve moving players and that kind of thing. But if they traded up into the end of round 1 or the beginning of round 2 and Michael Mayer's still on the board, you can almost bank that they're going to take a real hard look at Mayer. The combination potentially of Michael Mayer and George Kittle, I think it would change the 49er football team. You look for the draft to make you a better football team. How can the Niners become better? Well, if they get a 2 tight end set and they've got Kittle and they've got Michael Mayer, I think that makes a ton of sense. I think that makes them a lot better. The other thing is they could be, trying to position themselves as, they're not totally beholden to George Kittle, so that if Kittle's body fails him or if they want to go in a different direction a year from now, that they have that flexibility to do so. Michael Mayer would definitely be a step in that direction. So 49ers are going to get somebody on a tight end on draft day. If it's early, it's Michael Mayer. If it's very late, it's Dak Allen. But there's a number of guys in between. Thanks for checking out The Krug Show on YouTube, and thanks to our sponsor, Pig and a Pickle. 2 locations are open 7 days a week in Corte Madera, and they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And thanks for supporting The Krug Show.